purchase a massage chair, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars on this device, and you don't want it to break down. Now, there's a chance that it can break down. That's why they have warranties. But when the warranty's expired, you're going to be responsible for paying for that repair. So what can you do to minimize the possibility of a breakdown? Now, it's an electronic and a mechanical device, so there's going to be more things that can break down on it. And maybe you'll go the entire 10, 15 years that you own the chair and never have a problem. But if you do have a breakdown, that can be disturbing, because then you have to stop using the chair and get the benefits of it. And you may become very accustomed to having a massage chair. And there's nothing more upset than a customer who is used to having their massage chair and used to having it make them feel good, not being able to use it because it breaks down. So the warranty will cover the repair, but it still doesn't stop the fact that you have a broken down chair. So what can you do as an owner of a chair to minimize the probability of breakdown in a massage chair? Well, I'm going to list a number of things for you. There are 11 of them that will help you to minimize the chance of a breakdown. You do these things, your chair is going to live longer, and the chance of it breaking down is going to be minimized. It's not removed, but the chance is minimized. So number one, the duty cycle. The duty cycle is the amount of time that you have to let the chair rest after using it on a program. And typically it's the maximum program time on a chair, which is usually 30 minutes. So the duty cycle suggests that you use the chair for half an hour, you let it rest for half an hour. If you use it for 1 hour or 2 hours, then you've got to let it rest that long. But the longer you use it in succession without giving it a rest of that 30-minute duty cycle rest, you're increasing the probability of a breakdown. Because things like the mechanics, the gears, the motherboards, they all start to get worn down if the chair is overused. So you want to give the chair a break from time to time. Now, maybe you need to use the chair an hour or two at a time because it's the only thing that gives you relief. Well, then you're going to need to give that chair a rest as soon as you can, without you feeling miserable not using it. That's number one. Number two, do not stand on the footrest. Now, the footrest it has the foot massager and the calf massaging mechanism in there. And sometimes when people are reclined and the chair stops, or they want to stop the program, the chair comes up, but it's not fast. It's relatively simple and smooth and slow. But some people want to get out of the chair earlier, so they stand on the ottoman to kind of jump off onto the ground. Or the chair is not fully restored up to its neutral position, and you're trying to get into the chair, so you step on the ottoman to step on it and turn around and slide into the chair. That's not good. Now, it's not going to damage the electrical or electronic and the mechanical components, but it sure as heck is going to do some damage to the frame. And we've seen chairs completely compromised because people stand on the ottoman when it's not fully resting on the ground. So that's number two. Number three, if you have pets with hair, like a cat or a dog, there is a good chance that hair from the shedding is going to get inside the chair, maybe inside the pillows, eventually inside the chair, and it can mess up with the gears, the roller mechanism. It can affect the electrical motherboard as well. So you have to be careful with a pet, especially one that sheds a lot. I got a neighbor who has 3 huskies. I've never seen hair like that. And when I saw the dogs and I saw the hair all over the yard, all over the living room of this friend's house, the first thought that came to my mind was, what's that going to do to a massage chair if he has a massage chair? He didn't have a massage chair, but that's something you got to be aware of. So vacuum the chair out from time to time if you've got pets. Tilt the chair on its side a little bit. Not all the way, but have someone help you. You can pull the chair over on the side a little bit so it's tilted, and then you can reach underneath there with a vacuum cleaner. But keep the pet hair to a minimum around your massage chair. And if you've got hairless dogs or hairless cats, it's not as big of a deal, except for the dander. And I suppose dander, like dust and like sand, can still get into the gears of the chair, but the chance for breakdown is a lot smaller. Okay, number 4, if you have, again, not to be too hard on pets, But if you have a cat or a dog that likes to scratch or gnaw at new things in the house, I've seen couches that have an armrest that's completely destroyed because a dog is gnawing on it, a baby dog, or a cat is just scratching on it to sharpen its claws. If you've got a cat and or a dog that like to gnaw on things or scratch or whatever, they're gonna wreak havoc on your upholstery. And upholstery is not always an easy thing to fix. You can't just replace the upholstery on a chair. You have to replace the chair or get someone to come in and patch up the upholstery. And there's nothing more beautiful looking than a lovely taupe colored chair covered with with duct tape to try to hold everything together because the cat has shredded it to bits. Also, there's a tendency for dust and sand and even some dirt and grass to accumulate in the foot massager. And over time, and especially in the summertime when you're coming in and out of the house, and if you don't, especially if you're out in your bare feet or stocking feet or even in your shoes, that stuff is going to get deposited down in the wells of the feet. And you've got to vacuum that out from time to time, because when you sit in there and use the foot massager, and pretty much you always do whenever you sit in a chair, and the airbag's compressed and inflate and empty, and then you've got the rollers going at the same time, that works the linen. And if you've got a lot of micro garbage in there, like sand or dirt or dust or grass or whatever, it's going to shred the linen. And that is going to compromise the length of your the soft linen material, which is typically, you usually see the linen material in the areas where the rollers are hitting the skin, like on the neck, on the arms, on the feet, and you want to keep those healthy as well. Otherwise, the rollers get exposed, or the linen gets caught up in the rollers, and then you got problems, like big expensive problems to fix. Now, so that was number 5. Number 6 is wipe the upholstery down from time to time. All the areas where your skin touched the upholstery, you can have sweat, oil, even other things like maybe some blood stains or whatever if you've got like a sore or whatever. And wipe it down from time to time with a gentle cleaner. You don't have to use anything harsh, just like a gentle cleaner. You can even, look online for a synthetic leather, and most of these chairs are synthetic leather. But if you have leather, you got to get a leather cleaner. But a synthetic leather cleaner, and use that to wipe down the oil, because over time, especially if you have a light colored chair, the light colored upholstery can turn a little darker or off color, but it can also wear down the material. And so again, when you have damage to the mechanics and the electronics of a chair, you can get new ones and then replace them. But sometimes the upholstery, it's hard. You cannot replace all the upholstery on a chair if it gets thrashed either by body oils or sweat or fluids or cats or gnawing or whatever. Those things are very difficult to replace. Now, if you live in an area where there are mice, and we do here where I live here in Utah, mice have a tendency to find their way into little cuddly warm places where they can hang out, hopefully unnoticed by the owner of the house. Well, our technician here in Utah has seen multiple situations where there's a mouse nest underneath the chair because it's warm there. The mice go to hang out because the chair is being used, it's warm. But man alive, sometimes that stuff can get into the gears, and the mice can gnaw at the wires or at the motherboard connections. And you have no idea what's wrong with your chair. And then the technician comes and looks at it. It's like, holy cow, you got a mouse nest here. Watch for that all the time. Clean it out. Of course, you do that at your house. And if you do find a mouse nest, maybe get some pest control stuff in there. Listen to your chair. This is number 8. Listen to your chair. If you overuse the chair, as I explained in step number 1, which is the duty cycle, if you overuse it, you may not hear any sound at all. You might just think, without knowing what I've just taught you, that the chair is fine. It's just working. You can use it all day long. It never breaks down. Well, not yet it hasn't, but it will at some point. Well, sometimes the chair will give you some hints. It's kind of like me, as an older person, I tend to whine and gripe a little bit about things that don't go right for me, especially with regards to my health. Well, your chair kind of does the same thing. If it's overused, sometimes there's a heat expansion on the gears or on the roller track or on the roller mechanism, and you can hear like grinding, and it sounds terrible. You think something's wrong with your chair. Let your chair sit and let it cool off, and then you get back in the chair and you'll probably won't even notice that grinding anymore. It'll be gone. If it is still there, then there is a problem with the chair that you need to have looked at. But if you overuse the chair, your chair will start to talk to you in ways that you don't like to be spoken to by a mechanical or electronic device, just so that you know. Now, another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that when you get in a chair and your weight is more than the maximum suggested weight for a massage chair, the gears and the mechanics of that chair are going to wear down quicker than if it was someone underneath that weight limit. So, for example, we have a customer that weighs like 340 pounds, and he bought a chair that was, he was 320 pounds. The chair had a limit, I think, of 280. Well, that stuff, that's information that's out there on our website anyways. You can go and see what the maximum user weight is. But this fella, he didn't ask, we didn't tell. It was not someone who came into the store, so we couldn't look at him and go, oh, yeah, maybe we need to get a chair a little bit bigger or a little bit heavier, whatever, allowance. Well, his chair broke down 2 or 3 times in a row. And finally, one of the techs went out there and said, well, I think this guy is over the weight limit for this chair, and that's why it's breaking down, because it's wearing down the mechanical components of the chair. And so that's not something you can really prevent after you bought the chair, other than maybe losing weight. But before you buy a chair, maybe check. If you're pushing 280, 300 pounds, make sure that chair can handle the weight. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use the chair. You can still use the chair and get a massage, but you're prone to see more breakdowns. So just so that you know. And number 10, get a surge protector for your chair. A surge protector is it's a very inexpensive gadget to get, and it prevents power surges coming through the electrical lines of your home. And we see that typically in unstable electrical environments where the supply, and we don't have a lot of those problems in the United States, but there are areas where it has that problem, where there's surges of electricity coming through the system because it's not a robust, newer electrical system. But it also can happen in electrical storms. So, we live here in Utah. We get pretty good electrical storms in the fall, particularly in the late summer, and those can just fry your chair out. And we had a one in Utah where it affected our showroom chairs. 2 of our chairs had fried out motherboards. We had to replace the motherboards. So use a surge protector, and it will protect. And that's how we learned to get surge protectors, because we saw chairs getting blown up, if you will, or fried by an electrical storm, affecting the electricity of your home. Anyways, the last thing, number 11, is exposure to the elements. Now, the reason I say this is because within the last few years, we had a situation where a customer had a chair, a good chair, and the chair broke down. And so the technician went to look at the chair and see what was going on, because they couldn't diagnose the problem over the phone. So the technician went over there, and lo and behold, when he opened up the back of the chair, a lot of the components were rusted. And we thought, well, maybe that's just a freak accident. Maybe the chair came like that from China, or whatever the situation. So we replaced the parts, the rusted parts, the parts that were inoperable because of the rust, and we sent the customer on their merry way. Of course, we go into their home and do the repairs. That's what our lifetime labor warranty does. But within a year, this customer called back and she said the chair's got problems again. And so the tech went out again, and lo and behold, it was rusted out. The components were rusted out again. Well, as it turns out, this customer had her chair. It was a Southern California customer, and they lived on, I think, Manhattan Beach. And the chair was on their back patio, which faced the ocean, and and it was outside all the time. And the thing with California is, you can have a something covering your back patio, and you never have to worry, because it keeps the rain away, it keeps the sun away, but it's still exposed to the moist air. And that chair was rusted out twice in a matter of a couple of years. And so that is why we have learned that if some people want to put their chair outside, don't leave it out there a long time. Like maybe they're having a party and they want to bring the chair outside for people to sit on. I would not leave that thing outside all the time, especially in a humid environment. Now, you know, I've been to Houston in the summertime, and I've never experienced humidity like that in my life. And I think, again, when I go in a situation like that, of course, I've been in the massage chair business for 20 years. Everything revolves around massage chairs. But a chair outside in Houston in the summer, you know, I think something's gonna give. Something's got to give. If it's not you, and I almost gave when I was there because it was 90 degrees and 95% humidity. You know, something's got to give, and the chair might give. So just be aware of, you know, the elements. If your chair is outside and exposed to the elements, especially in a humid environment, just realize that some other things can be going on that you have no idea about. I had no idea about that till about 6-7 years ago. I learned it from one of this customer I was telling you about. Anyways, those are some suggestions. There's 11 of them. Those are some suggestions for you to follow to preserve or prolong the life of your chair and prevent breakdowns of the chair. It doesn't mean your chair's not going to break down. It's an electronic and a mechanical device. There's a good chance that it's going to break down at some point. It may not happen year 1, year 2, year 3, or 4, but it will probably happen in year 6, 7, 8. And it may never happen at all. But there is a chance that these chairs will there'll be something in there. You know, one of those parts will break down or you know, degenerate or get blown out by an electrical surge or whatever. And you want to try to minimize all that stuff from happening, so your chair has the best chance to last a breakdown-free life as long as you can. And most of these chairs that we sell, the premium chairs, they should last you anywhere from 8 to 15, 20 years. So they're built to last, but they're not built to take abuse. I mean, nothing is. Our own bodies are not built to take abuse. So, you know, take care of your chair. I hope you found this video helpful. And I'm Dr. Alan Weidner from Massage Chair Relief, and I will see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.